Hello everyone, welcome to our 12 days 12 use case webinar series. In today's webinar, we will be creating mobile application for one of the popular health and meditation website, Calm. We will be using Calm website to demonstrate that how you can use Twinr to convert any health and fitness website into mobile apps. So if you have a health and fitness website built upon any website technologies, then you can use Twinr to convert it into mobile apps. So now let's start creating an application out of the Calm website. Okay, so now let's first create our application, and to do that I'll click on this create app button, and then I'm gonna go with the blank application template because health and fitness we don't have any template for that. So let me go with the blank one, and name will be Calm, website URL which will be this one, industry is health and fitness, and then website platform that they are using is React. Okay, so now we have two new options here, which is remove header and footer. So since Twinr 2.0, we are launching Twinr automation engine. So Twinr automation engine will do a lot of manual work automatically for you, which includes removing header and footer as well, right? So sometimes in the mobile applications, we don't really use whatever header and footer we have in the we have in the website, because in mobile apps we do use native elements, right? So that's why until now this process of removing header and footer was manual, but now using Twinr automation engine, it will automatically identify header and footer element from your website, right, if it is there basically, and then it will automatically remove it for you, so you don't need to do it manually. Okay, so now let's build an application here, and we have our application listed here. Okay, so now before going inside, actually I want to discuss about one more option, which is our preview application. Okay, so preview application means that when you are working on your application and doing any customization or changes, right, obviously you want to preview that how does it look like in a real device or in a mobile, right? So that's what the preview application means, that you should download this application in your Android device, and then whenever you will be working on it, okay, your application will be listed down like this. Just click on it to open a preview, and then that's it. Whenever you will be working on it, you will be having a live preview inside your mobile app. So if you don't have an Android mobile, right, then we do provide simulated devices as well inside the portal itself, so don't worry about it. Okay, I'll explain about that in a moment actually. And third option here we have is a delete application, which is self-explanatory, so I'm not going into a lot of detail for that one. So now let's go to our application dashboard again, and here we have a setup guide which says the first step is to download our preview app, right? So we already discussed about that. The next three steps we'll be going through all of them one by one. After that, we are providing live chat as well. So for example, while you are working on your application and you got stuck somewhere, or you have you have questions or concerns for us, right, then you can always reach out to us via live chat, and someone will help you over the chat immediately. We also have a step-by-step video tutorial guide. So when you are working on your application for the first time, and if you are using Twinr for the first time, then I would highly recommend going through these videos, right? There are multiple videos which will go through all these three steps one by one, and it will explain everything in depth, that what should be all the feature means, then and then how you can use certain different features, and also it will highlight you about setting up push notifications, plus publishing apps to Play Store and App Store accounts. Okay, so now let's go to our branding section here, and under the branding section, the first thing is application info. So our application name is already here because that's what we entered while creating an application. So when user will install the application name will be used like this, displayed like this. iOS bundle ID and Android package name. So these information will be required when we want to release our application to Play Store and App Store account. So let's keep it for now. Application icon. So whatever icon we will upload here, it's gonna become our application icon, and it will be displayed like this when user will install an application. So let me update this application icon, and then okay, so it's done. Now let's go to our launch screen again. And for the launch screen as well, when user will open an application, right, they will be able to see this launch screen first, and then after they will be seeing the other part of the application. So launch screen is really important again, and it's an important part of both Android and iOS devices. So either you can use it as a marketing purpose or maybe branding purpose as well, right? But I would highly recommend using it as a branding purpose, because like when user opens an application, we don't really want to like throw some marketing tactics there, right? So yeah, but again it's up to you. Like sometimes you can use that for a marketing purpose as well. Now this is gonna be our launch screen for the Calm app. So let me update it. And now let's go to our app permissions. So app permission means that whenever user will try to access some mobile capabilities, native features such as camera, photo library, microphone, location and everything. So as you all know that we need to ask for the permission from the user before they use it, right? So when we ask for the permission, okay, we need to describe that what this permission for. So basically we need to provide a message there, that why do you want to use this permission, okay? So, and why should you allow this permission? Basically that's that kind of message we need to provide, a purpose message basically, right? So that's what the app permission means. So for your application, inside your application, user might be using camera for a different purpose, maybe updating a profile picture, or maybe like creating a image post or something like that. So whatever the feature you have which is using a camera, right, you should properly craft a message like this, that please allow us access to your camera to update your profile picture, something like that, right? And whatever message you will provide here, so when user will try to access the camera, this message will be displayed there with the permission dialog. Now in any situation, for example, if user denying a permission, that no, I don't want to allow the camera permission as of now, right, then next time when they will try to access the camera, they will not be able to use it anymore. So what could be the fallback solution here? So now we cannot ask this permission again, because we did already asked it once, right? So Android and iOS doesn't really allow to ask any permission twice, okay? So now this message will not be displayed there, but now we will be displaying permission rationale message there. So permission rationale message means user denied the permission, right? Now they are again trying to access the camera, they will not be able to access it. So in this situation, we will be displaying alert with this message, okay? We will displaying a pop-up with this message, and whatever message basically you want to set here, you can set it. And that pop-up will have two buttons, cancel button and the settings button, okay? So when user click on the settings button, it will bring them to the application settings, from where they can enable the application permission, this camera permission again basically, right? So this message is again really important, right? Again, you should use this message as an explanation that why they should enable this permission again. Okay, so let me enable this because in Calm we have a edit profile where user can update their profile picture, so camera will be required there. Similarly, photo library as well, so let me update this permission as well. Microphone doesn't really required. App tracking transparency, it's a good use case. So for example, if your application falls under GDPR compliance, where on your website you need to ask for the cookie policies or something like that, right, then you must enable this permission, because if you will not enable it, then for sure Apple is gonna reject your application. And this permission is only for iOS application, it's not for Android. So that's one of the use case of app tracking transparency permission. Second one is that if you want to really track your users in terms of that how they are using an application and for your analytics purpose, right? If you are using any third-party library which requires this permission, then also like you can enable this permission. And the third use case is if you have an advertisement inside your application, if you are planning to enable advertisement inside an application, then also you can use this permission basically to ask users for the tracking transparency. And if you are using advertisement, then it is required permission, you must enable this permission. Okay, so now next one is location. So actually I'm not going to enable this permission for now, we don't really require this. Location is as well not required, so I'm gonna skip that as well. Okay, so that's what the application permission means. And if you just click on this icon, basically you're gonna get more information on that what this all permission means. Okay, So now let's go to our app theme menu here. So app theme means whatever theme you are using on your website, right? So in the mobile application, you will be using some native elements. So for the mobile apps, you can also change the theme of the mobile elements to match with whatever you have on your website. That way you're gonna have a end-to-end branding inside your application, right? With your web elements and with your mobile native elements. Yeah, so I would highly recommend doing your customization here, because obviously this is required. You don't want to, like, your website is in a white color and your theme is on a black color, right? You don't really want to do that. Okay, so for the before we go here in the app theme, let me go to our preview app and see that how our application looks like first of all. Okay, so we have a calm app here, so I'm gonna click on that, and you see there was a launch screen there, and then we see the application now. Okay, so we see here we have a header here, which is a native element, right, with native navigation bar. We have these elements from our website, so all this is good. Okay, so first thing, we have a customization for the navigation bar as well. Now if you look at the calm, then their current header is of this color, this dark blue color. Okay, so what we will do, we will update it to this color for our native navigation bar as well, and they are using this color 002152. Oops, sorry, I updated the wrong one. This is the title color. We need to update the background color, and for the title we are going to use white color. And let me go here and reload this. So you see now our title is of the similar match color. Okay, now navigation bar color changes is done, right? We don't see a tab bar here because right now we only have created one screen. Okay, so we need to create multiple screens to enable the bottom bar here. So let's first of all create multiple screen inside our application, and then we will revisit this app theme section to update our tab bar theme. Okay, so let's go to screens again. We have one screen created here, which has these icons. So let me update these icons as well, because I don't want to use those icons. Instead, I'm going to use this one, update this, and for the selected one, let me use the selected icon for home screen, and there you go. Now let's create a new screen first. The first one I'm going to create is meditation, because calm is popular for meditation and meditation music, right? So let me use a URL here, and then for the icon I'm going to upload meditation icon. We do provide two different icons, normal icon and the selected state icon, so I would highly recommend you using that as well. And selected icon, save it as a draft. Let's create our third screen, which is gonna be sleep meditation. So let me go here and bring up the URL for sleep, this one, and then screen icon again. So I'm going to select one for a normal, not this one, sleep.png, and then add a new screen, and then upload the selected icon, which is this one, and save it as a draft. And the last screen I'm going to create is profile. So let's go here again, go to this one and bring up our profile URL, which is this, and screen icon again, similarly, profile.png, add a new screen, and then let me upload selected icon as well, and save it as a draft. So now let's go to our application again and reload this. So you see right now I don't see an icon here, right? Because that's of a white color. All of those icons are of a white color for the calm application. So we need to fix what we need to fix here, the tab bar's background color, the bottom bar background color here. So let's go to app theme again and change the background color to again similar to this one instead of white, right? Now selected color and unselected color. So let's fix that as well, because for the selected color, what I want to use, I want to use white color, right? And for unselected, I think maybe we can use, we can keep it as it is for now. Let's see. Okay, so now let's see our I mean, we can see here that our bottom bar color is being changed, so we can see all the icons. And if I switch to any of the tab, right, then you can see the icons, the selected text is changed to white, and similarly non-selected is still bit of a gray color. Okay, so you can basically manage those things from here, selected color and unselected color. Okay, so we did set up our multiple screens, everything is good. Now we see the next part is, again, let's go back to our screens menu. Okay, so we have multiple screens now. Now what I want to do, I want to remove some of the unwanted elements, unwanted components from my application, such as that I don't really want to use this one inside my mobile application, because what I want to do, the logo, I can display it in the native header here, so that's gonna satisfy my requirement. And this button, I can actually switch it to the native button, so we can completely remove this header part, right? So first of all, let's do it. Let's go to our website here again, click on this little arrow icon and see that where this element is. So I think it's this one, mobile header wrapper, and this is unique identifier for that element. So let's copy that and we go to general settings, because we want to remove it from everywhere, because I can see that in all the screens here, right? So it's in all the screens. So whenever we want to remove something from all the screens, we always go to general settings, and under the remove elements we mention that. And then let's add a new element here, which is this one, and save it as a draft. And let's reload this. So you see, now we don't see that anymore. Okay, but what I'm seeing here is that there is a lot of space here, because we did remove that element, but this space doesn't really got removed, right? Sometimes it happens based on the responsive design that you are using in your website. So but we can fix that again. You don't need to do any changes in your website. We can fix it by applying external custom CSS from our side. Okay, so to do that, what I'll do, let's go here. Okay, and what we need to do, we need to move this element a little bit up, right? So let's go to our website and find out that where their element is, which is this one. And I think header container, this is what this element looks like. So let's copy this element and go to our CSS section and add a new CSS, and here we need to provide elements identifier, which is this one, right? And the CSS property. So usually for this kind of situation, we can use margin property for CSS, margin top, right? Currently it might be using 0, but we need to do it in a minus position. So what I will do, margin hyphen top colon minus 80 pixel, for example, and save it as a draft, because we want to, right now currently whatever position it has, right, we want to move it to the up side. Okay, now let's reload this. So you see, that's perfect. Now it's at the start of the screen now, right? We can still move it little bit up, but I think this looks good to me, right? So that's how basically, without doing any changes in your website, right, you can apply external CSS and custom CSS inside the application as well to satisfy our UI requirements. Okay, another thing, we did remove the header, so obviously we need to change the logo here in the home screen. So first of all, let's do that and go to the navigation bar here, change title type to image, and let's upload an image for that, which is this one. Again, it's a white, so it's not visible here, but let's go to our app and reload this. Okay, so we can see the logo perfectly now. Okay, what we need to do here, obviously we need to change the size because it looks very big. And to fix the size, we go to app theme again, and we have a title image height and title image width. So because this is a kind of a horizontal logo, so what I want to do, let me change the height to 40 pixel and then width to double of that, which is 80 pixel, right? And let's reload this. So looks like now it looks good, right? And now also we need to add one button here, because in the header we had that hamburger button, which we need to change it with our native button, right? So what I want to do now, I want to use one tag selector button. So for example, tag selector button means in our native button, we will provide this button's identifier. Okay, so from the native side, when we will click on this button, behind the scene, it's gonna generate a click on this button. Okay, but as you can see that we are not displaying this button on the home page. Instead, we are using a native button. So we are replacing the website functionality and feature with the native button. Okay, or else we can say that we are connecting the functionality with the native button. So behind the scene, again, it's going to open this one, right? But not using this button, using the native button. So as I said that we need to provide identifier of this button. So first of all, let's find it out. Okay, so looks like this is our button here. Okay, so hamburger menu looks like this one is our identifier, which is unique. Now let's again go to home screen, and under the navigation bar on the right hand side, we will add one tag selector button. Now because we are using class, obviously we need to add dot at the start and then the button icon. So for the button icon, I'm going to use this icon, and color we need to change it to white and save it as a draft. So now let's reload this and let's click on this button. So you see everything is as it is. We did remove the web element, but at the same time we didn't lose our functionality as well. That's what we want, right? That's kind of customization is really good, because that way we are providing more and more native elements to inside our application, which makes our application more and more native as well. Okay, perfect. So I think for the home screen, the one thing looks like for me, maybe we can move this logo to the right hand side, so we have one element on the left and one element on the right. So let's do that, left, and save it as a draft, and then reload this. This looks perfect. And I think for other screens as well. So if I'll go to Calm website here and then go to any of the element, so you see there basically their title are all on the left side, right? So let's do that for all the titles as well, because for us, meditation is still in center, sleep is still in center, and profile is still in center. So let's move it to the right hand side, left hand side, save it as a draft. So each and every screen has its own its own dedicated navigation bar, right? So you can use different buttons, you can have different settings for each and every screen separately. Perfect. Now let's reload this and go to meditation. So it's on the left side now. Everything on all the screens, all of them are on the left side now. Now one thing which is missing here is, I think this title looks a bit smaller, right? So let's increase the size of that, and for that again we will go to app theme and title font size, change it to maybe 18 pixel, and that's it. Let's reload this again, and as you can see our title is a bit bigger. Now obviously if we have a title here, so we don't really need this title, right? So let's go to our home screen here. Basically it looks like, I think it looks like this good afternoon title here, and on the other screens this meditation title, they might be using a similar identifier. Okay, let's find it out. First of all, let's see that what this elements identifier is, which is I think header page title, which is this one, looks like. Yeah, header page title. This is the because we see H1 and meditation here, right? So let's copy this and let's go to the home screen and find out the identifier of this one again, which is also header page title, right? So it's similar element. So what I want to do, that I want to keep this header element inside the home screen, right? But in the mobile application, but in the other screens, for example meditation, sleep, and profile, I want to remove it, right? So now we have a good use case here, that this time we cannot use the general settings and remove elements. Why? Because we don't want to remove it from all the screens. We want to remove it from only meditation, sleep, and profile. Okay, so we'll go individually to meditation screen and remove elements and add a new element here, which is this one, and add this here. And then similarly go to sleep again, remove elements, and we mention this element again, and profile, remove elements, and save it as a draft. Okay, so we did that. Now let's reload our screen again and let's go to meditation. So we don't see that anymore. Let's go to sleep. We don't see that anymore. Let's go to profile. We don't see that anymore. So that's perfect. But if you go to our home screen, it's still there, that's what we wanted, right? Okay, so I think we did a lot of customizations here. We did see extra CSS, native header, native bottom bar, right? All the buttons and everything, and theming and everything. So we did a pretty good setup here. Let's see if we can do something else, which I don't think we really need to do anything. Okay, so now we did our customizations under the screens menu. Now it's time that we move to add-ons section where we can add a lot more other native functionalities to our application. So let's go here under the add-ons. So right now we can see 9 different extensions here, right? And all these 9 different extensions will add 9 different native functionalities inside your application. Okay, so I'm not going to go through all of them right now because it's gonna take a lot of time otherwise. So let me explain all of them in a 1 or 2 sentences. So page loader means when we load our application, for example, when the content is being loading, you see this loader here, right? So you can change the color and style and everything of this page loader. So we are providing 45 plus different page loader sizes, styles, so you can utilize that as well, right? So that's what the page loader is. Pull to refresh. So let's go here again, and if I pull down here, so you see there is a refresher here. Okay, so that's what the pull to refresh means. So you can change the color of that refresher as well. Then if we go to the next one, custom user agent. So user agent means basically it will give you idea that the request is coming from which device. It will give you a device information and certain other information. That's what the main purpose of the user agent is, right? Now if you want to add certain extra information to that user agent string, right, then you can provide your custom user agent and you can set it up. Okay, custom font. So we are providing more than 1400 fonts to use inside your application. So for example, if your application if your website is using like Roboto or any different fonts, right, then you can just select that font from here. For example, let me select the Roboto here, right? And then that's it. I mean, once you will set these fonts here, right, next time all the native elements of the application like this, all these navigation bar, tab bar and everything, all of them will be using that font style. So I would highly recommend using this feature as well. Save it as a draft and then let's reload this. So you see now this text has been changed to Roboto style. Okay, so that's also a good feature to use. Let's go back and then we go to the next one, which is no internet view. It's again like when there is no internet inside the mobile device, basically instead of displaying anything, it will display this kind of good no internet screen, and it's fully customizable. You can change the background color as well and everything by yourself. Okay, app review. This is really important feature again. So application review means this integration will allow you to ask for application review inside the application. Okay, so your users will be able to provide reviews to your application from within the application itself. So let's enable this feature, and here we need to provide the app review schedule. Okay, so app review schedule basically means enter app open count. So for example, if I'll enter 5, 10 and 15 here, that means when user will open an application for 5 times, right, it will ask for the app review. After that, once user will reach to the 10 application open counts, it will again ask for the review if they still didn't provided the review yet. Okay, if they have already provided the review, then it's gonna basically skip this next schedule. Okay, the Twinr will automatically handle that. Okay, so let me provide the schedule like this. Now you should really decide the schedule based on your use case actually. So for example, if your application is being opened multiple times in a day, right? Then you don't really want to ask for the review on the first day itself. Instead, maybe you can just start with the 15 days as well, right? So it's totally based on your requirements, and then whatever the mobile application you are building, you can decide that how frequently my users will be using my application. Okay, so I'm gonna skip to gonna use this schedule for now. And then app onboarding is again a good feature to integrate in your application, where when user will install the application and open it for the first time, right, you can provide them a nice tour or a nice highlight of your application, that what you can find inside an application, right? So that's what the app onboarding means. Multi-language, because uh, your application might be used by different regions, different users, right, and in different countries, so you can enable multi-language feature as well. Now, our multi-language feature is very powerful. First of all, because we are providing 136 languages. Second thing, we are providing auto translation for those languages as well. Okay, so let's take a look at the multi-language feature. Let me enable this. Now, first thing that you need to select your supported languages, that which languages basically you want to support inside your application. Okay, so for me, let me select Dutch. English is obviously my default one, right? And maybe I can select French as well. And let me select Spanish as well. Where is Spanish? There you go. Okay. So I've selected 4 different languages for my application, and then I can select the default language as well, that for user, right, what should be the default language. So maybe you just want to keep a system as a default. So for example, if any of the user have a French default language in their mobile, right, then their application will have a by default French default language. Okay, if they have a Spanish language in their mobile, then your application is gonna be by default using a Spanish language, right? Or you can specify, you can forcefully specify that no, the default should be English always, and then after they can change it. It's totally up to you. So I'm gonna keep the system as it is for now, right? And then let me go to multi-language again. Let's go to our translation menu. Okay, so translation means, as I said, that we provide automated translation for all these different 136 languages, right? So first of all, what you need to do, you need to download the translation file, and I'll explain that what does this translation file means. Okay, so when we download this translation file, okay, let's open this one. So as you can see that whatever text is being used inside your application right now. So inside our application, we are currently using this text, this home, meditation, sleep, profile, all these 4 text, we are using it, right? And obviously all your website language, you might be having some functionality to change the language. So for example, in terms of calm here, if I go to profile and change language here, then they have a language changer here, right? Language selector here. So similarly, mobile language will be maintained by this selection, right? But how, your web page, whatever content you have on your web page, it is being maintained by this one. But for the mobile device, whatever text we are using natively, which is not from the web page, right, which is not from your website, those text will be converted using this translation file. Okay, so currently we are using these 4 text in a native screen. Okay, now it is possible that you might be using a 5th screen here or some other text somewhere, right? For example, in our app onboarding as well, we do provide those kind of functionalities where you create different text and everything, right? So for those kind of things, it will provide you all those text in the list here, that you are using this much native text inside your application, and this is the translation here. So all this translation is here, English, French, Spanish, everything is here. Okay, now what you need to do, if you don't want to do any changes here, then it's all good. You just close this file and then upload. We need to upload the similar file again back to the portal. Or else you can see, maybe you can decide that as well, that profile is not perfect in Spanish, so maybe you can update it here and they save this file and then upload it here. So now let's go to multi-language again, and under the translation we need to again upload the Excel file after doing the changes. So if you don't want to do any change, then it's all good. If you want to do it, then do it and then upload the file. Okay, so I'm going to upload this file again here and save it as a draft. So that's it, all good. Now your application is supporting the multi-language feature. Okay, so next thing what you need to do. So for the multi-language, okay, now obviously we want to synchronize that whenever user select any language from here, right? We want to change the mobile native language at the same point, right? We don't want to do it. We don't want our users to do it twice, that first of all change the mobile application language and then after change the language from here, right? So whenever they change the language here, basically it should change the language for the complete application. So to do that, we are providing a JS bridge. So now what does this JavaScript bridge means? So what you need to do, like in my application, I have this button. So whenever I select any of the language, there is this save button here. Now when I click on this button, it's obviously going to change the website language, right? Completely, you see. Now if I go here and reload this page, now my text is gonna be changed to the new language. Okay. So whenever we do this change and whenever we click on the save button, what I want to do at the same time, you need to execute one JavaScript method. Now this JavaScript method is fixed. Okay, so this JavaScript method is basically like, let me explain here. It's like this, Twinr dot multi-language dot on change, and then after in the bracket here you need to provide. So for example, when you click on the save button inside the application here, okay, you just need to execute that function as a JavaScript. In the bracket here you need to provide the language code. So for example, if I am selecting Spanish right now, then we need to pass Spanish code here, ES, which is, you can find out the code from here as well. For the Spanish it's ES, right? So you just need to provide this code here, and then that's it. You just execute this JavaScript function whenever you are clicking on this save button. So you need to do that change in your website, right? That when user click on the save button, okay, you execute this method, and when you will execute this method, basically the mobile application language is gonna be changed at the same time as well. Your website language plus your mobile application language is gonna be changed at the same time. So like I'm trying to do some synchronization here right now. Currently, as you can see that my whatever content I have on my web page, it is being translated, but still my mobile content is not being translated. It's still in English, right? So to do that synchronization, so to do both the things all together, right, you just need to execute that JavaScript method whenever we click on this button. So all the different websites might be using a different scenarios, right? But at the end, you just need to execute this JavaScript function from whatever point you are changing or you are applying the language change on your web page. Okay, and you will be able to find all this information in depth in our tutorial as well. Now I cannot do that right now because obviously I do not have access to Calm's website, so it's not possible for me to explain it. Okay, now the next one is in-app purchase. So in-app purchase is really useful for Calm app as well. Now because inside the Calm application, the user can purchase a subscription, right? And when there is a situation where user can purchase a digital goods, for example, digital goods, then you cannot use whatever payment integration you have on your website. You must use, and you have to use actually, right? That's a requirement from Apple and iOS, that you have to use in-app purchase functionality. So that in-app purchase functionality we do support for both Android and iOS, and it's pretty simple as well. Now how you can set it up, we have in-depth documentation available again, right, for all the scenarios, that all the step-by-step process. So you can always go to the documentation and take a look at it. And if you have any other questions or concern related to this one, please connect with us and we will help you to set it up. But yeah, in-app purchase is going to be a really useful feature if you are providing a subscription-based pricing inside your application. Okay, now the next one I want to discuss here is about push notification. So push notification is again really important feature. for this kind of application, because obviously you want to send push notification to your users about a new offer or about a new meditation a video, a music or something like that, right? So for that situation you can use Firebase push notification first of all, which is our generalized push notification. And now since Twinr 2.0, we are also supporting personalized push notification as well. So that means instead of sending push notification to any single user, right, you can send instead of sending push notification to any multiple users at the same time, you can send push notification to any single particular user as well, right? So that's what the personalized push notification means. And abandoned cart is not really useful for this app, so I'm gonna skip that for now. So to enable the push notification feature, you just go to Firebase and enable push notification, and we need to provide these two files, which is pretty easy to create. We have a dedicated video for that as well, that how you can enable push notification. So you just go to this, just watch this video, which is like 4 to 7 minutes, I think so. And then that's it. Once you will have these two files, you just upload it. So let me upload it here. And then let me upload this for Android as well, JSON file. And that's it. Your push notification feature is enabled now. So now your application is fully supported for push notifications. And then you can use, again, you can use Firebase console to send push notification to your users. So we have a dedicated video for that as well, that how you can send push notification to your users using Firebase console. And this is generalized, this is not personalized, okay? For personalized now, let's enable this feature. And for the personalized push notification, we need to provide one webhook URL here. So let's understand what this webhook URL means. Okay, so this means that whenever user will provide a push notification permission, okay, each and every user's device will have a unique device token. Now, if you want to send push notification to only single user, then basically you need to use that device token to send push notification. And once you will use it, then the push notification library or whatever you are using, right, it will be basically able to identify that I need to send notification to only this device, right? So once you will provide a webhook URL here, and whenever user will be providing us a permission, push notification permission, we will submit that information to that webhook URL that you have provided. So what we will do, you will provide one URL to us which should accept a post request, right? Now this should accept a post request, and we will submitting this information to your application, to this webhook URL, that whenever user will provide a push notification permission, we will provide you the token, device token of that user, email address of that user, and the platform, basically which device they are currently using, Android or iOS of that user. So once you have this information, once we will submit this information to your webhook URL, you will get this information, and then you should store it in your database, right? Now in your database, you obviously have email address as a unique field, or maybe email address or username or whatever it is, right? So obviously you have one unique information there, right? So now you can match that. If I want to send notification to, like, for example, hello@twinr.dev user, right? And then that means in your database, you need to find out that what is the connected token for that user, which we will be sending to you, right? So once you have the token and the email address mapped here in your database, then obviously you can just get this token and send notification to that particular user, right? So that's how basically you can set up a personalized push notification inside your application. And this is now again fully flexible and customized. So whatever platform you are using, like maybe WordPress or anything, to build your website, right, there must be any plugin or library which will help you to set up the personalized push notification, and you need to prepare this webhook URL as well. Everything else will be taken care by us, basically preparing this and submitting this to the webhook URL, and everything will be taken care by Twinr. Okay, so I think we have covered pretty much everything here related to one good health and fitness application, that what it should include, right? So we did discuss about the branding, we did discuss about the theme, application screen customization, adding navigation native buttons, custom CSS as well, removing elements, and a lot more extensions, native extensions and integrations as well. So that's it for this webinar, and I'll see you guys in the next one. In the meantime, if you guys have any other questions or concerns, you can always reach out to us via our live chat, or you can send us an email on hello@twinr.dev. You can also refer to our help documentation at help.twinr.dev for the detailed information. So thank you again, and thanks for joining us in this webinar.